All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to take a sketch and then how to vectorize it or figure out, how do you make a logo from a sketch. So I'm going to go new file. I don't really care the size right now. I'm just going 8 by 8 inches. New Illustrator file. Awesome. So now I'm going to drag in my sketch that I made. So I'm going to my downloads. I'm just dragging and dropping. And of course, this little black box we see is your artboard, so your sketch is going to be massive. That's okay. We're just going to go up to transform right here and go ahead wherever there's width, just type something smaller. So it's at like 41 inches for me, so I probably want it just at 6. Click enter, zoom in. There we go. So I just made up a random sketch. This is a fictional burger joint called Happy Burger. I'm pretending that I'm making a logo for them. So this is my little sketch. I had this idea of a kind of combo mark. It's a combo mark, not a crest or not an emblem because emblems are all enclosed. And this one, I want these little hands to be coming off the burger. So I'm going to make this even smaller, right? And then because we're going to kind of use this as a template, I am going to go up to my opacity and I'm going to lower the opacity of this drawing a little bit. And then I am going to go to Object, Lock Selection. Same way when we've done the pattern silhouette tracing before, you need to lock your picture so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my browser and you probably already have your inspiration. I'm just kind of looking at this inspiration. I know I like the idea of having some sort of little border or some sort of little circle element. So if I want, I can just click on some of these examples and I'm going to just copy these images or download them. And I'm just going to pop them into my document. Got to make them smaller again. And these are not things that I'm tracing. They're just inspiration or kind of idea generators. And I don't have to just do burgers. I could find, you know, I could look up retro logos, and maybe there's some ones that I like what they're doing. Like I like these kind of hatch marks that are happening here. So this is like, you guys have already done some inspiration collecting, but this is just more. I mean, it's never bad to get more inspiration. So let me just pop a few in here. I know I really like the idea of like old retro mascot logos. And I'm thinking the little hands they do. Like, see these little hands? It's like little Mickey Mouse hands. So I'm going to copy those because that's going to be a reference that I need because that's the kind of style I'm wanting to do. So I'm going to kind of put that to a side. Perfect. So we got some references. I can collect more as I go. But I need to start with a base. So first things first, so far, this is pretty symmetrical, or this design I want to be symmetrical. So I am right now, I'm just going to start with a black stroke. So I need to switch because right now the fill is black and the stroke is nothing. So I'm going to click here to switch it. And then I'm going to grab a ellipse or a circle. And I am going to just click, hold down Alt and Shift to keep it even ratio and kind of start building the outside of this. Now it depends on what you're doing. You guys will be using the pen tool. You can use your shapes. I like when I did my wildcat example, I used the pen tool and I kind of traced out the shapes I wanted. And what's great about the pen tool, if you guys remember, is you can always use the white direct selection tool and go back and adjust. So like these little fingers, they're kind of ugly right now. I'm just kind of throwing things in, but I'm not getting too worried because I know I can always go back and I can adjust these anchor points. So right now that's kind of a weird, ugly little hand, but I can go back. So for some of you, like using the pen tool and the shape tool is going to be the best thing. Some of you might actually, depending on your drawing, let me zoom in to show this. You might actually want to just use a fill color and using your pen tool, kind of fill in the areas that you've drawn. So like maybe I don't want to use the strokes. Maybe I want to like actually manually kind of almost like color in the lines that I've already made. That's okay. You could do that. If you make a clear enough picture, you might be able to do that and use the image trace. But anyway, so let's say we're just doing the pen tool method, all right? I like this method best because you can adjust things. Um, oops, I gotta switch it back to using a stroke. Perfect. Got these little three-fingered, I guess he's got three fingers. I guess that's what I'm going with right now. Oh, except on this hand. So maybe I want to add more fingers. That's okay. I can adjust. I can change things, right? So I'm just clicking on one of those points and I just clicked backspace and I'm going to use my pen tool and click on one of the fingers and continue it. And I'm going to add kind of another little loop-de-loo that's going to be that missing finger. And then I can always just click with my direct selection, the white arrow, and move things. So I'm going to move these. There you go. Now he's got four fingers. That's like Mickey Mouse hands. That's good. I like that. Awesome. So I would just go around and build this. But another thing to think about is we talked about Gestalt principles, right? So I'm going to go off to the side here. Let's say for some reason I thought it'd be best to kind of create my burger using like building shapes, right? So let's say I'm just using my different shapes here. So it's going to be a little awkward, but let me try to make like two burger patties. Okay, and this is kind of me thinking about different ways to do these things. So let's say this is my two burger patties. That's the top bun. This is the bottom bun. And I could just make these and make them strokes, and I'll even copy that and just put it over here. I'm starting to build it, right? And let's say for this lettuce, I go ahead and grab my pen tool and I'm going to just kind of pen out a very rough kind of swirly lettuce shape just using my pen tool, right? I'm just doing this, very ugly. It's fine, it's fine. Now, the first thing, I'm going to make a copy of this lettuce. I'm going to hold down Alt, and we see the double arrows. And if I hold down Alt, click and drag, I can make a copy of that lettuce shape. But reminder from before the break, we learned that if we drag and select multiple shapes, and if we right click on the shape builder, which is also Shift M, if you hold down Alt, you can click and delete lines that are overlapping in shape areas you want. So I'm going to click that because I don't want that part of the lettuce. Okay. Um, and another way to think about this is, sorry, over here, let's say you wanted to kind of apply some Gestalt principles here, right? I'm gonna move the buns closer together. I'm gonna put the lettuce in the middle. And let's say I wanted to grab all of these guys and I'm gonna fill them all in. So it's all filled in. But I am now going to grab my shape builder tool and I'm gonna hold down Alt and I'm gonna delete the space where the lettuce was. Okay. So I could work more on this, but I was kind of trying to create that idea of like, do I need actual lettuce extending outside of the burger to like show something that looks like a food item or looks like a burger, right? Um, Also, let's not forget our Pathfinder tool. All right. So let's say I make two shapes and I want to cut the area in between them. I can always grab both shapes and Pathfinder usually pops up right here. But remember, if you can't find something, go to Window. Everything is in Windows alphabetically. But let's say I want to merge two shapes. I can click Unite right here. Or let's say I want to subtract one shape from another. Click the minus. Okay. So there's no wrong way. You can use any of these ways to make your logos. All right. Any of all. Any and all. So anyway, let me continue. So I've got my little burger guy going. I'm kind of adding I think I'm making this like the patty. And as I'm looking, I'm realizing like, I think I want the patty to extend because I want it to look like it's sitting on top of the bun. Awesome. Um, and originally I was kind of going to make this symmetrical. So if I want to make it symmetrical, I only need to make one hand, right? Because then I can just copy and move it over. And what I just did is, if you remember before the break, if you have a sharp point, if you click on it, you'll see this little white like meatball shape. So if I click on several sharp points, if I hold down Shift and click on several sharp points I have in a path, I can click on one of the meatballs and drag, and now they're curved. Awesome. I am going to go ahead and use my black because the black arrow, remember, selects multiple shapes. White arrow is for selecting anchor points. I'm going to grab the burger. I'm going to click on my shape builder tool, hold down Alt, and I'm deleting this line right here. So this is great because if you wanted to kind of layer shapes on top of each other, like so, you just layer a bunch of shapes, grab them with your black arrow, and just use your shape builder, and you just delete whatever little parts you don't want. So that's a great way if you're trying to build something. Just use the shapes and then get rid of the lines you don't like. Let's see. I should throw in something that represents cheese, I think. So I'm going to throw in like a little, and I forgot to do that in the drawing, so that's fine. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be just completely what the drawing is. You can kind of improvise. So I add this, but as I add this in, that means I have to use my shape builder tool and grab it all. Click on my shape builder tool, hold down Alt, and delete these lines inside the cheese. Awesome. And I think I'm going to use my white arrow and adjust the size of the bottom bun a little bit. And maybe I'm going to make this top bun a little bigger. There we go. And see that little line right there? I don't like that. I'm going to grab everything, use my shape builder tool, and hold down Alt. Click on it, get rid of it. Awesome. And I'm just going to quickly make this hand look a little bit more like how I want it. And remember, if you have too many anchor points, just click minus and you'll automatically get the remove anchor point kind of tool, and you can just click and delete. Just trying to make these look a little cuter. And if you have a point that you want to be round, you can always go up here and convert either a round point to a corner, or right here, convert a corner point to a round. There you go. So now I've got two handlebars here. Perfect. Awesome. And I might look at my reference. Let me scroll down because I got a hand reference for a reason. Okay. So I might need, there's like a little line for your fingers. It's like the part of your palm. So I am using my reference. There's a reason we got references, because it's going to help you make things look better. So let me add a little palm. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's much better. Little palm part here. I'm gonna move this thumb up a little bit. Cute. And now I'm gonna grab the hand parts and I'm gonna group them. Click group. And then I can kind of move him in closer. Maybe I move him up. Maybe he's doing more of a like a yay position. Perfect. Cool. And so I can click on this hand now, and I can go to my reflect or my rotate. They're always together. So just right click on rotate and click reflect. I'm going to hold down Alt and click the middle, and it's going to flip it on the other side, and I just hit copy. So we've done that before. Just learn how to reflect and copy something. And I'm actually going to grab my little burger guy with his hands, but I'm going to deselect the border because I don't really want to mess with the border right now. So I'm just going to move my little burger guy over here. And I'm doing that because I want to grab it all, and I'm going to use my shape builder tool and remove the parts of the hands that are cutting into the burger. There we go. Cute. So now looking at this border, I really like in this one how the border is like doubled, how there's like the big inside black border, and then they got a little white border, and then a bigger outside black border. So why don't I do that? So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to actually fill this in with black. But then I want to make another circle outside of it. Now to do that, am I going to grab another circle tool? No, there's an easier way to do this. I'm going to go to Object, Path. I'm going to go to Offset Path. If I click that, you can see here, it's going to let me control the measurements and create a new path outside. So just there, I changed it. I'm just going to click OK. So now there's two circles. This bigger outside circle, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to reverse the stroke and fill so I can see it. There we go. And I can kind of up its stroke if I want. Sweet. So I'm gonna grab my burger guy again, and I'm gonna actually make a copy of him when I do this, just because I love to make copies. I'm gonna hold down Alt, click, and drag him. And I'm just waiting till I see intersect, which means he's in the middle. If I don't know he's in the middle, I can always hit Control Y, or sorry, Command Y. And this is the skeleton view. This shows me the skeleton view of Illustrator. It basically shows what the computer sees and it strips away all the color. So I just hit Command Y again to get out of that, but I like the placement. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all my stuff and I'm going to go back to my shape builder and I'm going to hold down Alt and basically click on the stuff that I want to be visible. Actually, I may have to do this a different way, which is fine. Yeah, we're going to do this a different way because it's combining and I don't want that. All right, move my little burger guy out of that. We're going to move the burger guy here for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and just give him some color for a sec. So we're going to go Object, Live Paint Make, and I'm going to fill him in with color, just white right now. So this is what you're going to do if you have like some element, maybe your character that you need to put on a black area right now, and you're like me and you're kind of lazy and don't want to mess too much with it right now. I just want to see what it looks like. So there you go. There we go. Now I put him back there. Sweet. I'm gonna actually grab him, throw him over here so we can kind of start looking at him separately. Okay. So I think I want to make him a little bigger. And another thing I'm noticing is the bun shape right here. I don't think it's that great. So I'm going to use my white arrow, click, and adjust it a bit. I just don't think it's looking that interesting. Okay, that's better. Also notice my lines. What's that? There you go. My lines for the hands right here, they're cornered. What that means is all the strokes here, if we go to our stroke panel, they're set for a like a square cap. I usually like to use round because that rounds out the edges. You do whatever you like, but as I click that, see now the hands are rounded, which is kind of nice because it's supposed to have like a cartoony look. That's what I want. And I said I wanted these symmetrical, but I'm thinking it actually would look better if I have some of the hands just looking a wee bit different. That's just me. Depends on what kind of logo you're doing and what your inspiration is. Move his little hands in. Super cute. There you go. Okay. And we can see here areas that I might need to use my shape builder tool to kind of adjust. Now, one thing is once you make something a live paint selection, you'll notice that you can't use the shape builder tool. The shape builder tool does not work while something is in live paint. So I have to hit expand, which that releases it from the live paint. And now I can use my shape builder tool and remove these little bits that I'm now seeing are peeking out. Okay. So that's fine. You can always click it and make it a live paint again, but just know that you can't use your shape builder tool if something's currently a live paint. Okay. So still adjusting kind of the positioning that I like. Cool. I am going to ungroup these because I'm like looking at the bun and the bun for some reason is like bothering me. So I might have to hit ungroup a few times. Ungroup. There you go. Now I got the bun. I'm going to grab it and just kind of shift it to the side. And you might notice we've got a color. The color is separate, right? So when you expand it, it expands everything. And that means that the color is now something different. So I'm going to get rid of the color guy because he was just there to serve a purpose and I don't need him now. Ungroup. Move him over a little bit. Perfect. Okay. And I totally forgot, but I wanted like little like sesame seeds. So I'm just going to put a few little sesame seeds in here. And I just made them with a few strokes and I'm just rotating them, making a few. That's good for right now. Okay, I'm gonna grab it all again. And looking at it, I think I want the hands to be in a different position, like a little more happy up in the air, like woohoo. Let's try that. Grab it all again. I'm gonna go back to using my shape builder tool, holding down Alt, deleting what I don't want. Okay. Okay. Going back to my border, I think I want more happening with my border, so I'm gonna grab my outer circle and make it a little bigger. And then what I'm gonna do is I am going to make a line. I'm just using black stroke, and I'm gonna just create a random line right here. There we go. And I'm gonna now take this line, and what I'm gonna do is go to my rotate tool. I'm gonna hold down Alt, and I'm gonna click the very center of my border or my circle. And I think I'm gonna put, let's put 10 degrees right now, and I'm gonna hit copy. So it just copied another line 10 degrees. So I want to repeat that all the way around. And to do that, I'm just going to hold Command D. So Command D, and I'm just keeping clicking that, and it's just copying and making that line all the way around. There you go. So now I got a cutesy little, looks like a train track right now, but I'm going to grab it all, and I'm going to use my shape builder tool and hold down Alt and just drag my, holding down Alt with the shape builder tool, dragging around and getting rid of the outside part of it. Because I basically just wanted something that could create a cute little like checker line thing going on. Sweet. All right, let's grab our little burger guy. And looking at him, I think I'm gonna try to see if I can make his lines a little thicker. Ooh, I like that when they're a little thicker. So that's why I like using the pen tool to make things, is you can always like easily adjust the size of the strokes. Another thing we can do, which is about like one of my favorite things in Illustrator, is the width tool. All right, this is magic. So the width tool, if you click on this, and let's say I wanted to kind of just create some interesting lines happening, I can go to an anchor point or any part of the line, and if I click and drag, I can make that point thicker or thinner. And I can go around and basically just manually create thickness wherever I want. So if I want like this piece of cheese, this area to get thin, the lettuce, like I'm just basically having fun making like manual changes wherever I want. And that's how you get like a very ink illustrative kind of look. Kind of that's like happening here. See how these little lines are tapering off? I'm doing that by using the width tool. So this is what I would do after you're pretty happy with like where you have your line art. And because this is our first draft, make copies of everything. Okay. So you shouldn't finalize like what I'm doing here. This shouldn't be like your final, and you shouldn't get rid of any copies. That's why I made a copy of the burger guy over here, just in case I need to go back for any reason. So I'm just using my width tool, messing with stuff. If I don't like it, if I do width tool stuff I don't like, I can always go back and change it with the width tool, or I can use my black arrow, grab everything, and up here, just convert it back to a basic path. Okay. So let's say that's good. I'm going to grab it all. And now this is where I'm going to like make this like ready. I'm going to go to Object, Expand Appearance. And what that just did is it separated. It needs to separate these ones as well. I got to hit it again. Object, Expand, click OK. It separated all my strokes into shapes. So if I hit Control or Command Y, I can see these are all shapes now. And I want to merge said shapes. So I am going to go to my Pathfinder and hit Unite. We just saw those connected all the, I went back, hold on. I went Control Z because I want to use my shape builder tool to get rid of these little areas that cross because I don't want those to be included. Let me hit Command Y so you can see kind of what I'm doing. I'm just getting rid of these little guys because I don't want them. And that sometimes happens when you adjust the width of areas, is it kind of exposes larger areas. So that's looking good. Okay. Anyway, now I can unite it with the Pathfinder. Beautiful. Now I can color this if I want. So right now I am just going to color it white on the inside. I'm just going to grab my live paint bucket tool, click, and that makes it a coloring page automatically. And so then I can just pick whatever colors I want and click, 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 coloring each bit of it. Perfect. Okay. And I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna right click and go arrange, bring to front so I can move it in the front of my logo. Awesome. Perfect. So we can kind of see how it's like starting to happen. Like we got something happening based on my like original sketch. Um, I think I'm going to click and I'm going to actually offset this again, my outside border. So I'm going to go to Path, Offset, and I'm going to make this one a little bigger, a little bit bigger. I'm going to hit OK, but maybe I'll just make this stroke a little smaller so we can see it. Or I'm going to click on this stroke and you see how there's a blue line going through the middle of the stroke? Well, I can go up here and click on the stroke panel and I can make that sit on the outside of it. So that way it only will grow outwards, not inwards. Cool. Maybe I want to tilt the little burger guy. So he's kind of doing like a little, I don't know, sideways pose. Awesome. So I'm just designing like a black and white version of this right now. Okay, that's why I'm trying not to finalize anything. So next I think I want to try to play with well, I'm going to lock parts of my borders first. So I'm going to click on one of my outside borders. I'm going to click on anything I don't want to change right now, which I don't really want to mess with the inside border and my burger guy. And so I'm going to click on those and I'm going to lock them, lock selection. So really what I just want to mess with right now is these lines I made. The lines right here. Yeah, see how they're the only thing selected blue? Because I want to kind of mess with their thickness and thinness and see what I like. I think I want them to be a little thinner. Like that. Sweet. Okay. Awesome. I'm gonna unlock. Okay, so my burger guy, we already made his like widthness a certain thing, but I could always like add like a thickness if I wanted. That's because it's shapes right now, it's not strokes. So you can still add a stroke. So I just might make him a little thicker. That's good. Okay, so let's next but not least, let's mess with text. Okay, so I think I want to add some kind of happy burger text somewhere. This is my first draft. I'm liking how it's looking, but it needs some text. So what's great is Illustrator has this ability to type text on a path. So I can, of course, grab my text tool, click and drag a box, and I can type happy burger. And I can highlight that, and up here in character, I can make it whatever font I want, which I'll search for a font in a second. Voila, right? Which like that doesn't actually look half bad. Which again, if I wanted it to sit up here, I know some of you will be like, well, how do I make it sit up there? For right now, just create like a rectangle, maybe make it the same color as your background. And you can kind of just right click on your text and bring your text to the front. So arrange, bring to front. and sit it right on top of there. And maybe you want your burger to be in front of both of those. So you click on the burger and you go arrange, bring to front. So then you can kind of make the text like sit underneath the burger. Like that's kind of cute. So I just think you're messing with shapes. You're just building on shapes. But next best thing about text is you can make text conform to a path. So let's say I get a circle and I try to make this circle about the shape of our thingy. I'm going to reverse the stroke so I can see it. Perfect. And let's say I wanted, I'm going to choose a different font because this font's probably not going to work really well for it. But let's say I have this one, this aubergine font, and I want this to conform to this path. So I'm going to copy this text, Command C. I'm going to click on this path and we're going to go to the text tool and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go type on a path tool. And I'm going to just click right on this circle. And it is now allowing me to type all around the circle. So I'm going to hit Command V to paste my text. There's Happy Burger. Now, right here, you see these like two white squares. I can click on those and I can kind of control where the text is sitting. Oops. Or, come on. There we go. And push it up if I want it up there. But what happens if I want it like down here? Because that kind of, I can't really, if I rotate it, it's the wrong way up, right? That doesn't work. So what we can do is if you double click over on your type on a path tool, oops. Got to remember how to do this. It's been a while. Type on a path tool. Oh, come now. There we go. Up here, you got to click on the type on a path tool right here, and you can make it basically switch to be like an ascender. You have the preview, which means it sits inside the circle, and you can flip it if you want. So I'm going to flip. It's a sender. I can make it a descender. There we go. So you can mess here to kind of see where you want it to fit in your design. You got to make sure you click preview, otherwise you can't see nothing. So here is great because you can space it out. I think I want it on the center line. There we go. Perfect. Click OK. Happy Burger. All right. So that's one way you can like conform font. You can also just have your font typed out and you can go up to the make with warp or make with mesh. So usually it's right here. It's also if you go to effect warp panel, this is where you can basically click on your make with warp and you have all these options. So you can mess with arches and you have like control over like how intense the arch is, or you could make it like flag. So you can make like a flag effect. You can do whatever you want. So maybe that looks better. What's great about either of these ways is you can always double click on, or triple click or whatever you need on the text and kind of change the font. So I might grab all this. Maybe I want it all in caps. Happy Burger. Yeah, I think all caps actually looks better. Can use a new font. And there we go. Okay. So for this first draft, let's just keep it black and white for now. Don't worry about color. If you really, really, really want to try color, you go for it. But right now we're just messing with making sure we remember our tools from before the break. All right. So go for it. You need to have a draft, something like this, something that looks clean, that you're ready to present to group mates, ideally by the end of this week. All right. Good luck.